We've got Usamaki in the house. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do you want me to call you? Is it just Us?
Yeah, Us will be fine, sir.
Okay, Us is good then. Dugald, thank you for all the hats. Big W, Dugald. Good to see you. So, Us, are you at least 18 and are you a believer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am 26 now, and I'm a believer. I'm nervous to be here because being a believer in your chat's been pretty hard, but I'm excited. Haven't done this before, so we'll see how this goes. And I ask with a humble heart that you go easy on me. Like I said, I'm a bit nervous, but I'll try to be um, as good as I can, I guess. But we'll get into it. Thank you.
Fair enough. I'll try to treat you with kindness and respect since you're coming in with kindness and respect. So, do you believe that Santa is real?
I do not believe Santa Claus is real. No, I do not.
And why not?
Well, I do not believe Santa Claus is real. Just my own belief, and I have not searched up Saint Nicholas. But being in your life for about half an hour, I have heard you talk about Saint Nicholas and how he is a real person. So, based off of the evidence that you're giving, I believe Saint Nicholas could have been a real person. But just based off of my own knowledge of Saint Nicholas, I do not believe Santa Claus is a real person. Saint Nicholas could have been a real person.
Okay, so Saint Nicholas could have been a real person, and Jesus could have been a real person, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I believe Jesus Christ is a real person. Yes.
Fantastic. And do you believe that Saint Nick is still alive or dead? Also, Dr. Joe, thank
Uh,
you so much for all the hats. Big W, Dr. Joe. I appreciate that.
Again, because of my lack of evidence and research, I do not know Saint Nicholas. I believe he is dead. Is that correct?
I mean, realistically, I think he's every bit as dead as Jesus is dead. So, yeah, I think they're both dead. But you probably think that
Oh,
Jesus is still alive.
no, no, no. I believe that Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross. He did resurrect after 3 days, but then he also went back to heaven. But now we have the Holy Spirit with us. That is what I believe.
So he's alive.
Um, Jesus Christ is not alive. He's alive in heaven. He's not alive here on earth. He's up in heaven now. But we have the Holy Spirit. This is
Sure.
what I believe.
And how do you know he's alive?
Because the Bible says that after he resurrected after 3 days, he went back to heaven. But if we're
Well,
talking about trying to prove, yeah, oh yeah, sorry, yep.
I think what I'm hearing, Mac. Thank you so much for all the face paint. Big W, Mac. I think you crushed that goal all by yourself. Good to see you in the house tonight. Big W for Mac. Holy smokes. So, I know that you believe that Jesus resurrected from the dead and he resurrected into the heavens and he's alive up in the
Yep.
clouds, right? But what would
Yep.
be, I asked you the evidence. You said the Bible said so. So, I guess now my next question is the only evidence that you have the Bible? Is that all?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Bible. Since we're talking about the Bible, I believe that the Bible is the only evidence that we need because the Bible is truth, and that's not just based off of my own belief. But again, I'm not the smartest person, but I try to do some research here and there. And I believe that the Bible is also being corroborated and backed up by outside sources as well, not just by the Bible itself. But that's another big reason why my faith in my God is so big because, based off these evidence, I can prove that the Bible and everything that it talks about, especially with the Gospels, is real.
Sure. Does the Bible ever say anything that's not true?
No, it does not. The Bible is truth.
So the Bible doesn't
Based
contain any contradictions?
No, no, no. The Bible, I believe, does not contain contradictions. But like I said, your chat's been really, really strong on this, and it's quite intimidating. They bring up a lot of good verses.
I know. Don't worry about the
Um,
chat. Just
yeah,
you're with me. Don't worry. Don't worry about the
yeah,
chat.
yeah.
They're a bunch of Satanist heathens. Okay. I
But
want
even
to.
yourself, you bring, yeah. Sorry, yep. You go.
Sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yep, even yourself, you brought up some really nice verses, and verses that I didn't look into. Like I said, I'm not the smartest person, but I try. But I do not believe that the Bible contradicts itself.
Sure.
I do believe that the Bible does talk about God's wrath. Yes, without a shadow of a doubt, God's wrath is
I'm
in there.
so glad we're talking about God's wrath because I want to talk about a contradiction involving God's wrath. And
Yes, sir.
Mac, thank you so much. You just crushed a second goal, 2 in a row. Big W, Mac. Holy shit. Mac's in the house and she's making it rain tonight. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the kindness and the support. Um, this is Ezekiel 33, right? And it says, God is telling Ezekiel to talk to the people and say to them, as I live, says the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from their ways and live. Okay, so by this we would conclude then that God does not take pleasure in, killing the wicked,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. The problem we have is in Deuteronomy 28 when God predicts that his people would disobey him. It says, and just as the Lord took delight in making you prosperous and numerous, so the Lord will take delight in bringing you to ruin and destruction. You will be plucked off the land that you are entering to possess. So, and then you know what happens. God sends the Assyrians to execute them, and then he sends the Babylonians to execute them. So God does take delight in executing the wicked, doesn't he?
I don't believe so. So this is the problem I see with a lot of people when they're, using Bible verses.
Thank
They
you,
tend
Bobby.
to take a lot of things. They read one verse, but do not read the whole chapter. And a lot of the times, I'm not saying that's the case in this point, but a lot of the times that can be taken out of context. Now, based on my belief and my knowledge of God, God's wrath, like we mentioned, it's true. It's right there. However, I do not believe he does it without a purpose.
Holy shit, Mac. Mac, big W. Thank you, thank you so much. I can't put up goals fast enough to get ahead of Mac. All right, Deuteronomy 28:63. Thank you so much, Mac. Also, JM, thank you for joining the Kraken crew on YouTube. It literally says that the Lord took delight in making you prosperous and numerous. So the Lord will take delight in bringing you to ruin. So does Deuteronomy 28:63 talk about God delighting in ruining the wicked?
Again, the Bible does not contradict itself.
That's not my question. Does Deuteronomy 28:63 state that God takes delight in ruining these wicked people? He's teacupped. Mac, thank you so much for all the gifts. It's good to see you in the house tonight. You're off the chain tonight. I assume he's Googling the answer to this contradiction. Apologetics Press won't fix this problem. Yeah, we haven't talked about this contradiction yet. I think we might have brought it up just once over like the last year and a half. But I think this is the first time we've actually brought it up in a conversation. That's a good one. It's almost like the one where it says, God is love and love is not jealous, but then God says himself that he's jealous. We'll give him a second.
Yeah.
You're with us?
Yes. I was just checking. Yeah, I was just checking the King James, the New King James version, and it says the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it says here that the God took delight, and he was delighted in making them prosperous and numerous. So the Lord will take delight in bringing you to ruin and destruction.
That's right. And how does he ruin and destroy his people when they sin?
Well, a lot of the times he brings people to destroy them.
Yeah,
Also, you see in
invading army,
Numbers
right?
chapter. Yep.
Okay, so God does take delight then in executing his wicked people.
But they were not wicked.
They were. That's why God brought in the Assyrians and the Babylonians to take them captive because they behaved badly.
The Syrians were wicked, but you got to understand who is
We'll
he.
try this again. God is sending the Assyrians to punish the Israelites, right?
Yep.
Okay, and was he punishing the Israelites because they were good or because they were wicked?
Well, they were good. They're God's people.
We'll try this again.
They are,
Was God punishing the Israelites because they were good or because they were wicked?
They did wickedness,
Yes,
but they were not wicked.
because they disobeyed God. Yes.
But
God
we
is
go back to your
punishing
verse that
God
you.
is
Yep,
punishing
sorry.
them because of their wicked behavior. Yes or no? Mac, thank you so much for all the cranes. Holy cow. Mac, I can't keep ahead of you, my friend. It is wild.
But your original question, yes, he does. My answer to that is yes, he does. But
Okay.
um,
So he does take
I
the
don't like
light.
saying the word but. I don't like saying the word but because everything before the word but means nothing. But so the original argument here is that you're trying to say that God contradicts himself by saying he does not take delight in killing the wicked. Okay, and that was the verse you brought prior to this. But in this, the context of this is God's people, the
So
Israelites.
were they behaving wickedly?
They behave wickedly, but they are not the wicked.
Yeah, they literally are. Yeah. That's
They
why
are
he's
God's
punishing them.
people
He's punishing them because they're being wicked.
because they committed wickedness.
Yeah. And
But it,
what do you call someone that commits wickedness?
they're wicked. No, you got me. You
Yeah,
got me. You got
they're
me.
wicked. Yeah,
You're
yeah,
good. You're
exactly.
good.
Okay. So, anyways, I'm a sinner because I sin. People are wicked because they commit wickedness. So, contradiction number one in the books. Want to do a different one?
Yep, yep, yep.
All right.
Still
We're
don't
gonna
believe that the. Yeah, sorry. Yep, you go.
we'll do a New Testament one here.
Yes, sir.
Romans 3. As it is written, there is no one who is righteous, not one. There is no one who has understanding. There is no one who seeks God, so on and so forth. So, are we to conclude then that no one has ever been righteous?
No, no one is righteous, not even one. Nope.
So, if I read the whole Bible, I won't find anybody that was righteous.
Uh, there are righteous people. Jesus Christ, of course, is righteous. Yes.
But only Jesus then?
Well, the Bible also mentions that Noah was righteous.
You got
However,
it.
he did
Yeah.
he did drink and he did become drunk after the flood.
But was he
So there you
righteous?
go. He was righteous. Yes.
Okay. So we have a problem with also Luke chapter 1. It says, in the days of Herod, King Herod of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah who belonged to the priestly order of Abijah. His wife was descendant from the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. Both of them were righteous before God, living blamelessly according to all the commandments and regulations of the Lord. And it also says about Enoch that Enoch walked with
With
God,
Jesus, with God. Yep.
and then God took him because he was obviously so righteous. Jason, big W for the dragon hat. I've never seen that before. Thank you so much. Big W. Yeah, so then that means Paul was wrong. There is some people that are righteous.
Again, but if we can look into the context more of what Paul was writing for.
Well, I know what he's writing for. He's trying to make an
Yep.
excuse why all of humanity is actually sinful and fallen, and therefore everyone should go to hell.
It's not so much everyone should go to hell. That's another thing that you've been saying quite a lot is because I don't believe in God that you're gonna go to hell. You also mentioned
No,
why did God make you hell in the first place,
who
and
does go to hell?
those who are wicked and unrighteous.
But that's everybody according to the New Testament.
Well,
For all have
when did they
sinned
go
and
to
fallen
hell?
short of the glory of God.
Yep, but when did they go to hell?
Well, obviously, after they pass away, but it depends on which verse you read. Some people believe it's not until after the judgment because Matthew 25 seems to place it after the judgment.
So it is after the judgment, after all the prophecy is being fulfilled. But this is why Christianity is so good because God gives us a chance to come back to Him.
Why? Why would I want to go to a character that's going to torture me for not believing in him? That's like
Because
you're selling the cure, but you're the problem.
not really, we're selling a cure to you because you're the problem.
No, I'm not the problem. No. So the
This
problem
world.
is the sin nature. We've already been over this. The problem is the sin nature.
Yep.
Can I choose to never sin in my life?
You can choose, but it's going to be difficult.
Thank you,
No
Jezebel.
one is 100%.
Nobody. Okay, so nobody has ever been able to live a sinless life.
I believe it is very difficult. You can try. You can
Has
try.
anyone ever done it?
I can only speak on my behalf, and my knowledge is no. Everyone that I've met, they're not sinless. Even
So
myself, I try to. Yep.
so Paul was wrong in Romans chapter 5 through 7 when he talks about the sin nature and how everybody has fallen. Everybody has fallen short of the glory of God. He was wrong.
Everyone did fall short. As Romans also talks about how because one man sinned, then all men have sinned.
And we have the sin nature now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Paul
Uh,
says that all have sinned. All humans have sinned. Can we choose
yep.
to not sin?
We can choose. It's going to be difficult, but this is where Jesus Christ comes into play.
Well, try this again. We're not talking about Jesus. We're talking about whether or not we actually have the ability to not sin, because Paul claims. Solo, good to see you in the house tonight. Solo, thank you for all the fest crowns. Paul claims that we have this sin nature, and because we have this sin nature, we do the things that we don't even want to do. Paul himself says, "The things that I don't want to
Yep.
do, I do, and the things that I do, I don't want to do."
Yep.
Woe this body of sin.
Yep.
So
But then you also, Romans 5 verse 1 also talks about this exactly as well. So therefore we have been justified by faith. Justified means to be made righteous.
I know,
So like you said, we
I
have
know
sin
what
nature.
salvation is. You're missing the point. The point is all
Okay.
humans by default are going to burn in hell.
Not
Our
by default, yeah.
our default position, the day we're born, our
Yep.
default position is the hellfire. The only way to get out of the hellfire is to be somehow convinced of the gospel. But I can't be convinced of the gospel because Jesus didn't fulfill a single prophecy. The book is full of lies. It gets history wrong and science wrong. So I have no reason to believe that this gospel is true. Have you seen the
Yes, that
lies in
makes.
the gospels yet?
I have not seen the lies. That's why I'm a believer. I mean, like I said, I'm not the smartest person, but I do try to do my research, and all of my research has proven to me that God is real, that Jesus Christ did crucify and he did raise again. And that is, and even prophecy, to me, prophecy, my study of the prophecy proves that the Bible is a future telling event.
Oh, not at all. In fact, we'll just demonstrate that right now. First of all, what is a prophecy?
Prophecy is the foretelling of future events.
I agree. Yes, when the book says X, Y, and Z is going to happen, the only thing you need to do is ask yourself, did the thing actually happen?
Yep.
Right. Okay. So, a prophecy is not just random words on a page, right? Like I can't just take any. I can't take any book of the Bible and just call it a prophecy, right? Prophecy is something specific.
Yes, sir. I believe that it has to follow a set of rules.
I agree with you. We agree on that point. Okay. Then in that case, let's read a passage real quick. It says, "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. The more that I called them, the more they went from me. They kept sacrificing to the Baals and offering incense to idols." Is that a prophecy or is that history?
I'm not sure.
What do you mean it's not sure? Is there a prediction for the future?
There is.
Where? Where's the prediction about the future? Because everything in here is in the past tense.
It says when they were in Egypt, he called them out. They sacrificed. Sorry, I'm not. To be honest, I'm not sure where you're going with this. I need some help.
You can't get ahead of the argument. Just answer the question. Is everything in this in the past tense? Is it all about past events? Dugald, thank you so much for all the hearts.
Yes, I think.
Okay, so then by definition, not a prophecy. You gave me a definition of a prophecy before we started, saying that it's a foretelling
Yep.
of future events.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's no foretelling of future events in here, is there?
No, sir.
Okay, so then it's just history, right?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because if you go to Matthew and go to chapter 2, I think verse 13 through 16 should get us there. It says, Joseph got up and took the child and his mother by night and went to Egypt and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet, out of Egypt I have called my son. But we just read it, and there's no prophecy there. So Matthew's making stuff up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
But what about yeah, sorry.
There's a lot more. Want to go through the rest of them?
Can I talk about another prophecy?
You're welcome to. I know all of them.
Well, one of the prophecies that I liked is prophecy in Daniel 2.
Daniel
So
2,
can I
you're not
explain?
going to like this at all.
Oh, well, can I explain what I my knowledge of prophecy? So,
You're
like I mentioned, there was
you're welcome to. Yeah, go
yep.
for it.
So, like I mentioned, there was a set of rules.
Yeah.
To my understanding, it has to be mentioned more than once in order for it to be a prophecy.
Wait, whoa.
Um,
Hold on. Let me make sure I heard you correct. Also, Maeve, thank you for the tip. I appreciate that. Did you just say a prophecy has to be mentioned more than once for it to be a prophecy?
yes, sir.
Why?
Because it also comes to the second rule that when it is mentioned more than once, it has to come up with more information.
Oh, try this again. Is Revelation 21 a prophecy?
Uh,
Oh, he's got to go look it up. He doesn't have a paper Bible. I want to know where I can find these rules of prophecy. I thought prophecy is any prediction for the future. All right, so
yeah. Yep. Sorry. Yep.
have all the prophecies in Revelation come true?
No, not to my knowledge. No, they have not yet.
Okay, but they're still predictions for the future, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Are all of the predictions in Revelation mentioned twice?
Again, off of the knowledge of my head, yes.
They're not. There's a prediction that there's going to be a beast and there's going to be a mark of a beast. That's only prophesied once.
That is true. That is true.
So
But the beast has been mentioned more than once.
so the beast is Nero, by the
Yeah.
way, but we can do that next.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll go to Daniel 2 because
Sure.
I'm feeling pretty stupid now. But
Yeah,
yep.
I don't think you're going to like Daniel 2. Are you sure this is where you want to go? I'm giving you an out right now. I know Daniel very well.
Okay. Well, again, this is all based on my knowledge and my own research. So
Okay.
if you're gonna do me bad, just let me down easy. But
right.
we'll go. I like Daniel 2.
All right. What do you like about it?
Well, again, it's the foretelling of future events. Daniel, in his dream from God, mentions that there are 4 kingdoms to come.
Yep.
3
And
kingdoms after
are they
Babylon.
named?
No,
Are they named
but they
elsewhere in the
have.
book?
Well, Daniel 7,
Yep. And
Daniel 8. Sorry. Daniel 8 mentions the Medes.
there's a couple times that the kingdoms are mentioned. What's the name of the last kingdom every time?
Rome.
No, Rome doesn't appear in the book.
Well. Again, my understanding of the Daniel 2 prophecy, you got the head of gold, you've got the silver chest, the bronze waist, the iron legs, and then the feet of iron and clay.
Yep.
He clearly mentioned,
And there's 4 kingdoms, right?
yeah, and he clearly mentions that Babylon is the head of gold.
It's the first
So
kingdom.
there's your
Yes.
starting point.
We know the starting point. Yep. And who's the next kingdom?
Well, this is why I love Daniel 2 because again, history can come and back up the rest of the prophecy. He says that there are another kingdom.
We'll try this again. Who's the next kingdom? Just give us the name.
Well, he doesn't mention it in Daniel
Yeah,
2,
he
but he
doesn't
mentions
mention
it in
it.
Daniel 8. But history tells us.
I know history does tell us, and who's the next kingdom? I'm aware of it.
So you got the Medes and the Persians,
Yes, the
and then you
Medes.
got the.
Nope, the Medes are the next kingdom.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, the next kingdom are the Medes and the Persians. They're two
No, we'll
kingdoms
try
in
this
one.
again. It's the Medes, and the third
Yep.
kingdom is the Persians.
Is Greece,
Greece is the fourth
and
kingdom.
then. Okay, well, I disagree.
Okay, show me anywhere in the Bible where the Medes and the Persians are the same kingdom, because as it turns out, in all of the Jewish, Roman, and Greek literature, these kingdoms are four separate kingdoms. They're treated as
Yep.
such. Even in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they're referred to as four separate kingdoms. So, based on the writings of the Jews, I would conclude that I would interpret their passages to end with the Greek kingdom, which is why elsewhere in the book of Daniel, the last kingdom is always the Greek kingdom.
I don't think so, because you also got to understand that, remember, Daniel 2 leads into Daniel 7. The
I'm
prophecy
aware.
then leads into.
Yes, and
Yep.
it's still
And then if you
it's
look at the
still
beast,
the Greece it's still the Grecian Empire. Rome is never
but
mentioned in the book.
it's never mentioned, but clearly the signs are given. I mean, you look at, go back to Daniel 2, after the iron legs, it goes into the toes of iron and clay. How many
Are
toes
you
are
a
there? There
Seventh
are
Day
10.
Adventist?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I had this discussion with somebody much older and more knowledgeable than you just like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Do you think this is going to go well for you?
I'd like to give it a try. Like I said, this is something new. I've never done this before.
I have. I've had this
And
discussion
just,
many times.
yeah.
Okay. So, in Daniel chapter 8, what's the last kingdom?
Daniel chapter 7,
In
the
Daniel
last
chapter
kingdom.
in Daniel chapter 7, we don't actually get the names of all of the kingdoms, do we?
Yeah, but again, I'm going based off. It doesn't give us the names, but it gives us characteristics, the next best thing to go off.
Yes, and those
Characteristics.
characteristics end in the Greek kingdom.
Well, remember, you also got to remember that if we go again based off of Daniel 2, it goes off with the iron legs into the feet, which have 10 toes,
Yep.
right? And then that same characteristic comes into Daniel 7 with the fourth beast unlike any other, with 10 horns.
Yes, and those are leaders. Yes.
Yep. And then, which implies that the
And
10
who
horns, which,
and who's the little horn that props up? That's
well,
uttering blasphemies?
yep, well, it's got to be the Vatican City.
No, it's not. It's Antiochus Epiphanes IV. Do you know why he's the blasphemer?
Why, sir?
Because he literally changed his last name to Epiphanes, which means God manifest. Do you know what he did to the temple in Jerusalem?
No, sir.
He literally set up a statue of Zeus, offered a pig as a sacrifice on the altar of God, and then started forcing the Jewish people to eat pork.
Yep.
So
Well,
all
the
of this
reason.
is about the Greek Empire. And do you know what
Yes,
language
sir.
chapter 2 through chapter 8 is written in?
I believe it's Hebrew.
It's written in Hasmonean Hebrew. And when did Hasmonean Hebrew develop?
I'm not sure, sir.
It was implemented after the fall of the Greek Empire in about 167 to 164 BCE, shortly after the Maccabean Revolt. During the Maccabean Revolt, they started minting coins with Hasmonean Hebrew on it, and then after the revolt was finished, they converted their kingdom back to the usage of their particular Hebrew language. But that form of Hebrew is clearly a second century Hasmonean form of Hebrew. It's identifiable. We know when we're reading Hasmonean Hebrew, and we know that it's different than exilic and pre-exilic Hebrew. So everything in the chapters we're reading were written shortly after the fall of the Greek Empire. Although I
I
would
don't.
posit that the Daniel chapter 9 was written in the middle of it.
Again, like I said, all of this is based off of my own knowledge and my own research. And again, my research says that based off of, again, this is me looking online, obviously, into scholars and
Name the
theologians.
scholar that you got this information from.
Google.
Because the preeminent
Yep.
scholar on apocalyptical texts is John J. Collins. If you read any biblical commentary on the book of Daniel, all of them are going to quote from John J. Collins's commentary. I happen to have his commentary, which is why I have the opinion that I have. The scholars overwhelmingly agree with me. So I don't know who you're studying, but I don't know any actual biblical scholar of the Old Testament and apocalyptical literature that would give a Christological interpretation of this passage. The only people who ever attempt it are actual New Testament scholars who have no idea what they're doing with the Old Testament.
That's nice. But again, my research was going off, again, Google told me that based off of the nouns and the pronouns that were used and the language set up and everything, that it could have been around the time in which Daniel says that he wrote it.
Certainly not, because he doesn't know anything about Daniel's time period. He gets Daniel's time period wrong, but he gets the 2nd century right. He knows who's sleeping with who's been married to who. He knows what's happening with the leaders of the individual kingdoms, all in the 2nd century. He doesn't know anything about Daniel's time period. He doesn't even know who the father of Belshazzar is. And the father of Belshazzar is clearly Nabonidus, not Nebuchadnezzar. There are 3 different individuals between Nebuchadnezzar and Nabonidus, and none of them are related. Nabonidus did not come to the throne through a bloodline succession. So there's no way that Nebuchadnezzar is related to Belshazzar. It gets it wrong. Darius the Mede didn't exist. There's no Darius the Mede. It's confused. It gets the wrong person. It gets Darius the Persian confused with Darius the Mede, but they lived hundreds of years apart.
I didn't know this. I guess I'll go again and I'll be honest with you. I don't believe what you're saying, but I'll go do my own research. And if I could get the book again,
Yeah,
Google was it?
I would get the commentary on Daniel by John J. Collins. It's a good commentary. This one will probably run you about $60, $65. At least that's what I paid for it.
John J is in the letter or Collins?
Yeah, John J. Collins, yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely.
And you're roasting me, so again, I'm getting pretty nervous.
No, you're doing fine. This is expected. Solo, thank you for the 666 over Venmo, though. Big W, Solo. I appreciate that. All right, so I have no
But
reason.
again,
I have no reason to believe that Daniel is a prophecy about Jesus whatsoever. And the hallmark prophecy of Daniel, which is in chapter 9, doesn't say anything about the Messiah. It mentions 2 different anointed ones. One is clearly a priest, and one is clearly a governor or a ruler, and they're not the same person.
which chapter, which prophecy is this?
Daniel 9 about the 70 weeks.
Yep. Also, the 70 weeks. Yeah, that's nice. Talking about the cleansing of the sanctuary. Even with that, the timeline fits perfectly, though.
Oh, it doesn't.
I mean,
Not even close.
why not?
Because it starts either at 605 or 539. It doesn't start during the reign of Artaxerxes.
Are we talking about the same thing?
Yeah.
Where,
you think that it points to Jesus starting in about 445 BCE when the word goes out. But there is no word that goes out in 445 BCE.
I thought it was starting at the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem.
No, there's nothing in the book.
I mean the sanctuary. Sorry.
That's not what it says. Not only does it not say that, but God tells you ahead of time in the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, 13, He says, I will raise up Cyrus in my righteousness, and I will make his ways straight. He will rebuild my city. Cyrus is the one who's going to rebuild the city and the temple. He says it again in Isaiah 44, verse 28. He says of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and he will accomplish all that I please. He will say of Jerusalem, let it be rebuilt, and of its temple, let its foundation be laid. So Cyrus is the one that's credited with actually rebuilding the city and the temple, which is why we read in... What's that?
Sorry for interrupting you. But you're saying it's Cyrus, but it's not Cyrus who built the wall or the temple.
I didn't say anything about a wall. I don't know why you keep inserting a wall there. Nobody in the book is saying anything about a wall. Where does he keep going? I don't know why he keeps teacupping.
Oh, is that me? Sorry?
Yeah, every time you swipe away from the app, you disappear.
Okay, sorry, sir. I didn't know that. Sorry, sir. But when it talks about building the city of Jerusalem, it always starts with the wall. But
no, it doesn't.
It specifically,
the wall is not mentioned in Daniel 9. It says that there. I think it might say that there's going to be a wall and a moat. Let me double check it. I know there's a moat for sure.
No,
that's 24, but keep in mind, it says 70 weeks are to be decreed. There we go. And we know, therefore, and understand. Let me put it on the screen so we can all read it. There we go. We want verse 24 and 25, starting 25. Know, therefore, and understand, from the time that the word went out to restore and to rebuild Jerusalem, Jerusalem's a city,
yes, sir.
Until the time of an anointed one, an anointed prince, there shall be 7 weeks, and for 62 weeks it shall be built again with streets and a moat. Sorry, not a wall. So it doesn't say anything about a wall here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So the wall is irrelevant.
Yes, sir. But again, this still gives us a starting point of the 70-week prophecy.
No, the starting point is with King Cyrus. That's Ezra chapter 1. In Ezra chapter 1, he gives the decree to go back and rebuild. In fact, it goes to the whole kingdom. It says, in the first year of King Cyrus of Persia, to fulfill the word of the Lord from the mouth of Jeremiah. See what it says? To fulfill the word of the Lord, to stir up the king of Cyrus of Persia, so that he made a proclamation throughout all of his kingdom. So the word goes out to all the kingdom in writing. It says, thus says King Cyrus of Persia, the Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth and has charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem which is in Judah. Let any of those who are among all of his people, may God be blah, 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 blah. You already know what happens. So he sends everybody back to go rebuild. Cyrus is the data point, most likely. You know, Josephus confirms this too, right? If you read Josephus has another copy of this edict. It's a little bit different than the one in Ezra, but it says that he sent them to rebuild the temple and the city.
That makes sense.
Right. So it starts most likely at 539, and that means that the timeline ends roughly right smack in the middle of the Maccabean revolt. And the two anointed ones, that's going to be most likely Zerubbabel or Joshua the high priest, who was anointed when the temple was finished in 516. The second anointed one that was cut off later in the chapter is Onias III. He was cut off by Antiochus and his people, and he was replaced with his brother Jason. Jason made a pact with Antiochus Epiphanes IV to end the sacrifices and offerings at the temple. And this went on for a period of about 3.5 years, exactly what it says in Daniel chapter 9, for half a week. And then the Maccabean revolt happened. They overthrew the Greeks and reinstituted the sacrifices and offerings again. So everything in Daniel chapter 9 is about what's happening in the period of Judas Maccabeus.
I guess, it's hard for me to understand, because like I said, this is all based off of my own research and my own knowledge. And I see Daniel 9 completely different. But you bring up all of this information again. I would just be completely honest. I don't believe it. However, I'm not going to be arrogant and not look up look into it. So I will have a look into that. So you said the book of Josephus.
Yeah,
Am I saying
Josephus.
that right?
Yeah, Josephus confirms it.
Josephus. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I can tell
And I
you
really
where.
appreciate this time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If that's okay with you.
I've got it marked in my hard copy of Josephus, but I bet if we Google it, it'll tell us exactly where it is without having to upset my green screen behind me. Looks like we're going to be in Antiquities of the Jews, probably in Book 11. Let me double check. King Cyrus of the Persians delivered the Jews out of Babylon. There we go. Yep, that's where it is. I'll put it on the screen for you. It's going to be Antiquities of the Jews, Book 11, Chapter 1, and it's got the edict in it as well. So this paragraph is the edict.
And so chapter um book 11, you said.
Yeah, exactly. Antiquities of the Jews, Book 11, Chapter 1.
I'm just gonna. Are you alright if I take a screenshot?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's
I
gone.
can zoom into it too.
Right.
Hold on. Let me zoom into it so
Yes,
it's bigger.
please. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure thing.
But yeah, like I said, I appreciate your point of view as well. But once again, I'm not arrogant to not look into this. But I guess you're right. We shouldn't have gone down, Daniel. I wanted to give it a try. But you're really very intelligent, and really appreciate it.
Well, I didn't come to this position by accident. It's not like I just stumbled into this position. Like,
Yep.
I was a Christian for a long time. Studying the Bible is what led
Mm.
me away from it.
That's interesting. You said that because again, I remember you were talking about how earlier there was someone who tried to share his own personal testimony. But we don't do that here, which is fine. But there's a lot of other testimonies where people do the opposite, where they study the Bible to try and prove it wrong, and yet they come back to Jesus Christ.
I've never seen anybody literally like I've never seen an atheist go to like Bible college and become a Christian at the end of it. I've never seen that happen. But I've seen a lot of people go into Bible college and seminary and then
Yep.
end up non-believers after it. Not even after it, sometimes in the middle of it.
There's 741s coming for me. We already went through the contradictions.
Wait, who's coming?
But I
Well,
mean,
I want to read another verse with you if you don't mind.
yes, sir.
So Matthew says that Jesus fulfilled Zechariah chapter 9. He says it in Matthew chapter 21. And in Zechariah, this is when he rides the double donkeys, by the way. It says, "Rejoice greatly, O daughter Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter Jerusalem. Lo, your king comes to you. Triumphant and victorious is he, humble and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. He will cut off the chariot from Ephraim and the war horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off." So, like, what part of this prophecy actually got fulfilled?
To be honest with you, I do not know. I'm not.
Right.
I d-
Sounds like the only thing that
just being
actually got
honest.
fulfilled is somebody rode a donkey.
Yeah, I get where you're going with this. I get where
But
you're going with this.
I rode a donkey. Am I the Messiah?
Fair enough. Fair enough. But I mean, there's so. This is the thing I see with a lot of atheists. Not you. I'm not attacking you. Apologies, but a lot of atheists they pick and choose. I mean, you're saying that not one of these prophecies about the Messiah Jesus Christ fulfilled.
Not one. And I've got money riding on the fact that you can't find one because I've been doing this for a long
Well,
time.
I can't. I'm not as smart as you, but I mean, if I can, I'm pretty sure there's one, and I'll find one. And if we up with this live again soon, I'll be happy to come back. I mean, if there's money riding on it, I'll be happy to make some money off of it. But
If you can find me a prophecy that Jesus fulfilled,
yes, sir.
that's like an actual legit prophecy from the Old Testament, not just a random thing out of context, I'll give you $100.
Yes, sir.
I'll send it right over Venmo.
I just followed you, so I'll make sure to do that. But yeah, like I said, this is something I didn't. Sorry, let me start again. Again, I'm nervous. I really appreciated this time. Like I said, I wasn't the smartest. I didn't know what to expect coming into this, but it's given me a lot to think about, and it's given me a big perspective. But like I said, I still 100% believe in God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. But this just goes to prove that there's still a lot I need to research and to learn.
Sure,
I really appreciate
that's
your
fair.
time. But also, if you have time, if you're interested, I also wanted to talk again. I know you guys were talking about creation. If you wanted to go back on that, if not, that's fine.
I mean, it's kind of off topic. We do that topic quite a bit.
Fair enough. Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
next time I'm live, I
No, that's
probably
fine.
won't be doing this topic. So coming back.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
cheers.
Thank you very much for your time.
Good to hear from you.